In today's video, we're taking a look at how to screw or drill on concrete or cement easy and simple. This is so easy, anyone could do. Everything that we use on the video, we're gonna leave a link on the description. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. That does help us out a lot. Thank you. So you woke up today and making holes is in your mind. Don't worry. Here at the StatUpBox team, we've got your back. A few blocks away, but a back is a back. And no matter which masonry you want to drill a hole into, you will need a drill. And depending on how easy you want the hole to be made is the type of drill that you're going to use. And you are going to need a regular drill. It won't matter if it's corded or battery operated. What you want to make sure is that it is not an impact drill. If you're using a regular drill, the first setting that you want to adjust is the torque setting. You either want to take this to the highest number, and this one is a 15, but if you notice, if we go one click up, you will see a drill bit image, and this drill bit icon is the setting for drilling. The next setting you want to adjust is the speed. In some drills you have 1 to 5 speeds, 1 to 2, 1 to 3, and the example on how this works is usually, let's say setting 1 is low speed, high torque, and let's say a higher number means a higher speed and less torque. And usually the rule of thumb is when drilling into masonry, you want to use a low speed, which means high torque. But let's say you want to make the job a lot easier, the type of drill you want to use is a hammer drill, and this could be corded or battery operated, and usually this information will be written on the actual drill sticker. But the easiest way to see if your drill is a hammer drill, you're going to see a button that you can change from a drill bit for drilling to a hammer for hammering. So that means one setting is PG-13 and the other one is rated R. And now depending on your drill, the accessories it might bring, let's say this one has a depth stop and it also has a hand grip to make the job a lot easier. But let's say if yours does not have a depth adjustment gauge or stick or bar, you can always use the technique passed down generation to generation of a piece of tape. But let's say you're doing heavy duty work, you can always use a SDS drill, and usually you can rent this at your local hardware store. And what SDS means is a slotted drive system, and this type of drill uses a powerful rotary hammer drill function that makes big jobs a ease. Let's say you want to drill a hole to insert some rebar or a big screw to hold the deck to a house. And now that we filled your brain with drill information for drilling, the next important thing is the drill bit that you're going to use to drill in masonry materials. If you notice, to the left we have a drill bit for concrete, and to the right we have a drill bit that could be used for wood or metal. If you notice, the tips are different. One is pointy and one is flatter. The material is different. So when using or purchasing a drill bit for masonry work, you want to verify that that drill bit is for masonry work. If you notice here, to the left we have a drill bit for wood, in the middle, which is a little bit flatter, for metal, and at the right side for a masonry material, which you notice is flatter and wider. And another pro tip when buying a drill bit, no matter for what material, you want to verify the chuck size of your particular drill. You can have a size of 1/4 of an inch, 3/8, 1/2 inch, or 5/8. Usually the bigger the drill bit, the bigger the hole on the chuck that you'll need. So now we know the type of drill bit that we need, the size as well, depending on our particular drill or hole that we're going to make. The next question that we need to ask ourselves, are we going to use anchors or are we going to use screws? Or maybe you just need a hole because you like making holes for things, then you can skip to the next step. Starting with the anchors, we have different sizes depending on the screw or weight that you want the screw to carry. Usually the bigger the anchor and screw, the heavier the material it can carry, because remember, going farther in and having a bigger volume, the more it can hold. We also have different materials like plastics or metal, usually plastic for lighter things like holding a picture frame, and usually metal anchors to hold more weight. You will notice that some have little wings that help with the grip action, meaning it would make it a lot harder harder for the screw to come out the hole once it's in. Now that we have the drill bit and the anchors, what you want to make sure is that your drill bit is the same size of the anchor. You don't want it to be too big that the anchor would be too loose in the hole, or too small that the anchor won't fit. Like we would say in other situations, just right. So comparing the drill bit and the anchor is the way to go. But let's say in your case you don't want to use anchors and you want to be able to screw the screw directly to your material, then using masonry screws according to the material that you're going to use is the way to go. And you can get these in different colors as well. And usually when you purchase these types of screws, they already come with the drill bit included. But let's say they don't, you can always verify on the box for the suggested drill bit size according to that specific screw. But let's say you can't find the owner's manual or the box, you can always measure your drill bit to the screw. And remember, in this occasion, you usually want to go smaller and not bigger, because remember, when the screw goes in the hole, it's gonna widen a little bit the path as it screws in. You don't want it to be even the same size that when it goes in is too loose. So think of it as pre-drilling, like when you're drilling on wood. So for an example, for a 3/16 inch in diameter screw, you want to use a 5/32 inch bit. For a 1/4 inch screw, you want to use a 3/16 inch bit. And you can always find charts for this information in the interwebs. And now that we filled your brain with data and we have the basics down, we're ready to start drilling. The first thing that you want to do is verify that you have the correct home. The last thing you want is to drill in the neighbor's side. Next, we want to prepare our drill by setting the correct depth size. You can do that by setting the depth guide bar on your drill, or you can use a piece of tape and measure the size against the drill bit. Place the tape on the head side. Remember, you don't want to over drill or under drill. The closest you are, the better. And for this first test, we're going to install an anchor. First, we're going to measure, locate, and verify level where we're going to place the anchor. And in your case, you can use a level, a measuring tape, or any device of your choosing, like a laser level. But in our case, we're going to go old-fashioned and use our eyeballs. Now that you have the correct location, a pro tip: the most important thing that you want on your job location is to be able to survive one more day. So using a mask, protective eye gear, and we would like to add a vacuum to suck up the dust as we drill. But not only it's going to do that, we're going to stop halfway through the drilling and suck up any debris or dust inside the hole. What this is going to do is going to provide us the correct depth that we need, because as we drill, the dust accumulates in the hole, giving us a fake perception of reality. And now we welcome you to the matrix. So if you're doing a deep hole, you can stop 2, 3, 4, 5 times, as much as your heart desires. You suck up the dust and you keep going because you're a fighter. Once we notice that the depth gauge touches the concrete, or that the blue tape touches the concrete, we stop. And this is most importantly when you're using an anchor without a head. If it has a head and the head is bigger than the hole, it's not gonna go through. So missing by a little bit won't make a difference. But if your anchor is the same size as the hole completely with no head, then it might go through. And now we're ready to place our anchor. We like using a rubber mallet to place it in. If using a metal hammer, then you want to gently push it in. You don't want to move any concrete, neither on the inside or the outside. You want it to be tight in there. And just like last night, here comes the screw. I mean, wrong video. And when inserting the screw on the anchor, we like to go manual. Even though you can use a drill bit, you want to go real slow, because the last thing you want is to go from a small job to a big job, patching a hole and having to make another one, because fast speeds can make the anchor dance inside the hole by removing tiny concrete particles, or even strip the anchor, making the holding power not existent. So now that we got our class in physics, we're ready to hang up the gloves. I mean, to hang the picture frame. But let's say in in your case, you're not hanging anything on it and you want to go all the way flat, then the only thing that you need to do is screw the screw all the way in. And remember, the ancient technique passed down generation to generation of lefty loosey, righty tighty. But let's say in your case, you want to use option 2. You don't want to use anchors and you want to use the screw to drill directly in the material. Then in this case, we're going to use the same technique as before. We're going to measure our screw to the drill bit. We're going to place a piece of tape on it and get ready to drill away. And remember, when drilling, you want to make sure that you have your drill bit and drill straight. So you do want to hold the drill tight, because remember, with the hammering action, you might wobble side to side. And the last thing you want is to have a crooked screw, because remember, the straighter you drill, the flatter that screw could be. And we know you can do it, Grasshopper. Just like before, we want to stop halfway or divide it in 3 stops, and using our vacuum that is constantly running meanwhile we're drilling, place it on the hole and remove any debris inside the hole. And once we reach our desired depth, either by the depth bar, which is a cool name, or the tape, we stop. And just like before, we like to drill it manually using a handheld screwdriver. But let's say if you were to use a drill, you want to go slow and not over tighten. Once you get to the bottom, you want to stop. If you keep turning, it's going to make the hole bigger and render the hole useless. But a pro tip, you can always make the hole bigger, place an anchor, or use some type of concrete glue to put in the hole, then the screw, wait until it dries, and there you go. And that is if you don't have any other option. But let's say in our case number 3 and final example, you want to drill another material to concrete, it'd be the same technique. We do the hole first for the screw or anchor, then we mark on our material, in this case wood, in your case it could be metal or any other material, even masonry on top of masonry. We don't judge, and in this case we're using the same concrete screw to mark it. As you can see, it does not penetrate the wood because it is a masonry screw, but it does create a good mark. And now that we have our mark on our material, we're going to replace our masonry drill bit to a wood drill bit. And using the same technique as before, we want to get a drill bit the size of the screw but not bigger than the head, because we don't want the screw to go through. Usually smaller than the body is the way to go. And just like before, we're going to vacuum our working surface. We're going to vacuum the hole in case we got any debris inside the hole. Meanwhile, we worked on the other material. We're going to insert our screw a little bit through the wood, align it with the hole on our concrete, and then just like before, using the same technique of nice and slow and the old law passed down generation to generation of lefty loosey, righty tighty, we put that screw in. And remember, just like before, once you hit the bottom and once you feel it tight, that's good enough. You don't want to overturn and make the hole bigger. Another pro tip, when adding a material to the concrete, you can always measure the material and the size of the screw. To get the correct depth, you need to go on the concrete, because remember, now having an additional material, you don't have to go as deep. And now you've done it. You broke concrete. You can pat yourself on the back for a job well done. Don't forget, if you liked the video, please give us a thumbs up. That really helps. If you have any questions, place them in the comment section below. Either someone on the StatUpBox team or someone on the YouTube community can help you out with an answer. Don't forget to subscribe, follow us on social media. Thank you for watching, and here's a link to our latest video.